Okay, Oscar, Manny, you both received your instructions in your dressing room. Okay, look, if it goes right here, it's okay. Anything below that's low. Right here is okay, anything below that's low. I want a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourself at all times. Let's go.
The late rounds. Good straight left hand up the middle for Manny Pacquiao.
Looking in his eyes, I've known him. But he's fighting a very intelligent fight.
He takes a straight left hand and a right hook from Pacquiao and seems intent on retaliating after in round one.
Those two punches, they seem to have been the only clear punches that have landed thus far. And
De La Hoya knows he wants to keep his jab going throughout the fight. He hasn't really gotten it going so far.
This has the makings of being a very...
From round one, they're simple. De La Hoya is so much taller. Pacquiao so much faster. And now De La Hoya nails back the body.
Oscar
confusing him at the moment.
But getting busy watching the jab. But right now, Manny is hitting him with his punches off.
Momentarily shocked Oscar.
Othersome for Oscar throughout the round, who simply can't believe how easily Pacquiao right through the middle of De La Hoya's guard. De La Hoya lands a left hook. Pacquiao gets away.
He punched, but nothing landed too much for the most part. Right here, you see what surprised me and has been probably the most effective punch. The little left-hand lead of Manny's is he shoots right between.
Moment when he was, even though dangerous and destructive, largely a one-note tune. Jab, jab, straight left hand. His ability to fashion the the lead left hand, starting his offense with it, as he's doing there, shows how much he's progressed.
One thing that you need is Oscar De La Hoya has very little head using his upper body movement with his hands, and he is a much more elusive target.
You know, Oscar used to dominate fighter. He was always put in. A weight division too rested him.
Adjusted to the straight left-hand lead, seems to be expecting Pacquiao to start with the right jab, all the way his nose from top to bottom with that punch. You heard Freddie Roach dominates, as opposed to along the ropes, where De La Hoya's strength.
Manny's upper body movement and defense is very, very effective. He's moving and bobbing and weaving and dancing in and out.
And decently trying to go at the body.
But he has no head movement at all. His head is stationary.
Oscar, it seemed. And as you said, there is almost no height difference.
Pacquiao lands a brilliant uppercut. And De La Hoya has not been able to solve Pacquiao's speed or style.
If you look, to get into fine details, not only the time leading on his heels, whereas Manny's
is neutralizing Oscar's left hand when it was in the sport for over a decade.
The speed and variety, according to CompuBox. De La Hoya hasn't really gotten his offense going.
I see him becoming even better. Body looks a little weak. And as I said, his upper body movement is not going. I think Manny's going to get stronger as the fight goes on, even though he's winning now. Oscar has no stationary.
Why did so many ringside experts think that the fight wasn't even a credible...
Most people. For him to almost picked up any weight.
He is not getting off at all. He hasn't thrown a punch in 20 or 30 seconds. Something, you have to believe that.
He just landed a good body there, and Pacquiao following back against him. There is a big swelling outfit with his jab. Speed taking De La Hoya to the cleaners. Now Oscar seems to out effectively.
But Oscar's got the snap and the speed is coming from Pacquiao. I don't see the snap in Oscar's punches as much.
And that's because he's uncertain where Manny's going to be.
Good point. You can tell that.
Is it also because it's a physically more challenging?
Now, Oscar, I know he's into this kangaroo meet or whatever.
Oscar De La Hoya has fought since September of 1997 when he fought Hector Camacho Sr. Pacquiao has dominated De La Hoya in the first two rounds with his straight left-hand lead up the middle. Early in his career, Pacquiao always turning.
If Oscar can't get set, he can't get his punches off. I mean, looks like a guy going out, doing a 360. 3-0. Manny Pacquiao.
Of Manny Pacquiao is between the gloves of Oscar. Let's get Manny preoccupied. Manny can land
a destructive punch for De La Hoya. I asked Freddie Roach yesterday in our meeting, I said, have you ever seen Oscar De La Hoya? That's a factor in the fight. Is often the #1 weapon of choice for a conventional fighter against a southpaw. for the same reason that.
And if Oscar's not going to move, and that's what Oscar needs to do, is keep working that jab. Manny could not time him so much, and even if he doesn't land, as I said,
Good body shots there by Pacquiao. And if there was doubt coming in as to whether Pacquiao could anymore.
and you watch when Manny lands his left, he then moves off, often stays out of the line of fire. He hits it and moves away as soon as he lands it.
This is getting embarrassing.
It's an event when De La Hoya dodges a left hand. All of them seem to be landing for Pacquiao.
Oscar looks old and he cannot control the situation. The worst thing in the world is to kind of the speed. And that's exactly what David Diaz said, but David Diaz wasn't the fighter of Oscar, but he could not handle the speed.
Out of 20.
If Oscar would just work his jab.
De La Hoya looked a lot better in May of 2007 against Floyd Eaton. Low blow by Pacquiao.
What is the feeling of a fighter when he's in there with somebody who's always beating him to the punch?
This is a terrible feeling. The worst thing it is, as I say, to not handle the speed. And he doesn't block those right hands at all. He has his right hand permanently stuck to the side of it, and Manny just punches. It's like a wide open invitation.
Getting careless and carried away with the fact that he's doing this.
No, it's a brilliant fight plan, Pacquiao. Far more of an intelligent and tactical fight plan than I personally had expected. And perhaps more so than De La Hoya expected as well. He has not been able to solve.
I think you summed it all up in that phrase, Jim. You know, when a lot of the experts...
Good body shot by Oscar.
Biggest punch of the fight for De La Hoya, and he suddenly...
To get back into this fight.
Well, if judges are looking for a round to give to De La Hoya, this might be the one, although now Pacquiao rallies down the stretch and prevent Pacquiao from countering him as effectively as he has so far.
Even a lot of those punches that Manny has landed, which is on the cup, if you notice, he's never been... Oscar has his cup extremely high. So they're really on the belt line.
When Nacho Beristain asks between rounds, not asking that De La Hoya look 45 years old, but rather that he throws trajectory. That's why they call it a 45. Straight left.
It's almost guaranteed is going to land about 90% of it.
Up after fighting Steve Forbes in May. And fighting Manny Pacquiao is something entirely different from fighting Steve Forbes.
Here we see once again Manny Pacquiao shooting a straight left hand right down the pipe. Directing, that's the kind of punch that's doing the damage to Oscar De La Hoya.
What they're seeing, although each round has gone by with
Manny Pacquiao. I mean, Oscar De La Hoya hasn't gotten up to schneid. He's getting shut out. And Freddie, nice straight left hand by Pacquiao, and then he turns him. He moves to the side, and De La Hoya kicks.
Knock him down, if not knock him out, to change this fight.
Got many of the top elite fighters in a long time.
Yeah, Ricardo Mayorga's no elite fighter in my view. No. He's the most willing target in the sport.
Yes.
Yeah, but still, you would think against called smaller man, we'd see something more.
No, but I think Jim summed it up. There's too much of everything. He's going to get into the fight, how to hold him off, how to get to him. It's too much of. He doesn't.
He's maybe trying to lay a trap. But Manny is too smart and too fast for him.
Yeah. This fight's going to probably end up being stopped.
Manny Pacquiao is annihilating Oscar De La Hoya. And it has zero answers for the Pacquiao assault.
I'd do anything. You can't
Pacquiao is making De La Hoya look old, slow, ineffectual. As though he is a...
Some of us wonder
this fight's over with.
Whether Manny Pacquiao would strong of this era. Right now, he's looking like the immortal Armstrong.
And Oscar is barely throwing back. You wonder if Tony
fight.
Weeks is thinking of stopping the fight.
Yes. He's looking
Hard
entirely at
shots.
Oscar.
De La Hoya hasn't been down, but that may be the only thing that's keeping Weeks from stopping it.
He hasn't thrown a meaningful punch in nearly this whole round.
Pacquiao is closing in on landing 50 power shots in the round. It's the most power punches ever landed on De La Hoya in a single round of his career. And virtually all of his fights have been counted by CompuBox. And
Right here you see Pacquiao landing punch after punch, and it's not so much just the way he's landing them. The body language and position of De La Hoya's body is that of a man that's defeated. It's passive.
Including 45 of 76 power shot. David Diaz was closer to being in the fight against Pacquiao than...
Scored the last round, a 10-8 round.
Well, and you heard the commission...
Warrior still trying to hang in there against who is the most exciting little fighter in the world.
Little?
Big,
He looks big
fighter.
tonight. Margarito. All right, Larry, you envisioned this one. Could you see Pacquiao against Margarito?
No, and he himself says he's going back to 140 after this fight. This could be the end of the fight here.
Fighter who may have the best chance of picking up his identity as the sport, because Pacquiao's following is growing, not just in the Pacific Rim, but in the United States and Latin America as well. Tony Weeks has a tough decision in front of him. There's a lot of glory and a lot of money in Oscar De La Hoya's past. Here's another look at the stoppage. Nacho Beristain, the hired gun trainer brought in for this fight, finally told the truth to Oscar and said, he's too fast, you can't stop him.
The winner by TKO victory, and still the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, the fighting pride of the Philippines, Manny Pacquiao.